Thanks, Marcus. I can't say that I've ever been introduced as the PR and events girl who puts 4 boys in a room of 30 girls, but most men are pretty happy with that, so hopefully you were too. Good morning, everybody. When Tom initially came to me and said, Z, there's these amazing talks that go on once a month. Do you want to do it? I said, yeah, good. I'm on board. Let's do it. And they're inspirational. And then I stopped. And it was too late because I'd already said yes. And I'm a commitment person, and I thought, oh dear. I talk every day for a living. I play with words, sometimes lie to people. I'm in PR, don't judge me. But when I have to inspire people and motivate them, that's when I get a little bit nervous. So I've been racking my brain for a while as to what could I possibly say to a room of people that probably are more inspirational to me, from fitness, health, media, marketing, all sorts of industries, but what could I say to them that could inspire them? And I've been going back and forth, bouncing ideas off my partner who's standing at the back there with beady eyes going, I hope you took notes when I was talking to you. And I thought, you know what? At the end of the day, I've got to stick to what's true and what's real about me. So here's my story. I am South African. I've moved here about 4.5 years ago. Initially, before moving, there was a gamble between going to the UK and doing my master's and coming to Dubai. Being someone that does love sunshine, I thought the UK is probably not the best place for me. So moved over to Dubai, started a job that initially I thought would be the dream job. It was fashion, I'm a girl, I like my shoes, I like my makeup. What could possibly go wrong? Heading up a marketing team for multi-brands, luxury brands. I'm living the dream. Not quite. It was possibly the worst 7 months of my entire life. And for those of you who know me, I'm definitely not quiet. Definitely not. You won't miss me in a room generally. I was quiet. I was introverted. I was miserable. Counting hours in a workday is something I've never, ever done. I was literally watching the minutes tick by in that job. After 7 months, I thought, you know what? Just let it go. I don't manage money well. I admit it. I feel like I've just opened a massive confession here. So when I left that job, savings was not on my side. So there I was, out of the first job that I'd moved to Dubai for. When I initially moved as well, I moved into a hotel. As you know, South Africans, we are very fortunate with our passports. Not really. Nobody wants us. So we can't be here for very long without having to leave. So we don't do the visa runs. We don't have the opportunity to get anywhere generally without a visa. So the time was ticking. I knew that I couldn't hop over the border and back like some of my friends could. So I literally had a month or two to work out what my next move was. So moved here initially in a hotel for 2 weeks. A friend of mine who had a company said, I'll get you the apartment because I have faith in you, Z. And I thought, oh dear, what have I done? I've got this apartment in JBR. I've got a rent that comes up at the end of every 3 months. And I've just decided to leave my job. And they weren't begging me to come back because I'd left in a way where no one would be begging me to come back. So there I was. I thought, you know what, do what you do best. I started freelancing for a bit, but again, the visa issue came up. Got another job, worked in it for just over a year as marketing director for a group. And after working 18-hour days, loving what I do, absolutely loving what I do, I thought, if I'm working this hard for someone else, what if I did the same thing for myself? 2.5 years ago, I started my company. Think Licorice is my baby. It's a PR, marketing, and events company. And the truth that probably most people don't know about it is I started that company with maybe 50 dirhams in my account. It sounded like a great idea at the time. My end of service from my previous job is what set up my licensing and paid for my first month or two of expenses. And from there, I thought, I'll leave it to the wind. And the moral of that entire story is that there's always a plan to be made. Wherever you're determined, wherever you want to do what you know you can do, something will always come from it. I'm standing in front of you today, truth be told, not too much more than a few months ago in my account, because I'm still just as bad with money. But I am loving what I do, and I think the important thing for all of you is if you wake up in the morning and you don't absolutely love where you're going and what you're doing with your time, change it. You will always be okay. I know that money is important, don't get me wrong. I love seeing the balance up just before the 28th of every month and not seeing it down on the 1st of the new month. But if you're not loving it, is it really worth having it? money in this city creates a perception of happiness, but it doesn't make you happy. I come from a background where we're normal, we're middle class, average family, and we were never sort of ultra wealthy or ultra poor, thankfully, but I think that's taught me that you need to have money, but you need to have happiness more. And that's when I thought of inspiration, the word inspiration scares me because I work with words every day. So I know the meaning of using one over the other in a press release. And when I think of inspiration, in terms of my frame of reference, I think of people like Nelson Mandela. Very cliched, but based on my background, that's the type of person that I would consider inspirational. When I got asked to stand here, I thought, I probably can't be that inspirational, but what I can be is real and honest. And in terms of my reference and my experience, my career and my life, that's probably me being as real and as honest as I can be. Work hard, but love what you do. Earn a lot of money, but earn it in a way that you're happy to earn it. The other thing about my industry and people that work with PR people or for PR people is that there's a lot of perception. There's a perception that you need to constantly be better than the person next to you. And being someone with a tiny, I like to consider semi-successful business, I just thought it's worth saying, don't always look over your shoulder. Because the truth is, and specifically in a city like this, you're never going to outrun everyone. All you need to do is look in the mirror and go, am I being the best person that that person can be? Am I being better than that person was yesterday? And if your answer is yes, you're on the right track. If you're constantly looking over at the neighbor's walls, and I mean, to put it into context, and some of the girls might know, if you go to an event and you go, Jace, I've got to improve my wardrobe, you're never going to be able to compete with everyone. But you need to be able to look in the mirror and know, when I'm competing against that person, am I better than I was a day ago? And tomorrow I want to be better than I am today. And if you achieve that, I think you're successful. It's a very difficult city to measure success in, I think. I think there's always the monetary attribution to success. And being in an industry that can be very fickle, I'll admit it, that can be very superficial, I think it's important to always be real with yourself and always keep in perspective who you are, what's important to you, and not forget that, but always strive to improve and be better than you were the day before. Hopefully, by the end of this, I don't sort of shatter the dreams of reaching the millions, because that's not my intention. My intention is just do it in a very honest way, do it in a very real way, and do it in a way that when you get up and look in the mirror, you are happy with what you're seeing and happy to know that you're better than what you're seeing was yesterday, and you'll be better the next day. Thank you very much.